aerosol cans. So it's great detail in front. On the left here, Sam Page from Sydney in Australia also completed the Bureau of the Child, planting the wind turbine into the soil on your left of the wall. And he's a terrific street artist. When Sam Page from Sydney in Australia completes a mural, for sure he completes a masterpiece. So that's one on the left by Sam Bates from Sydney, Australia. And the one ahead will be turn, it'll be on your left, swimmers and divers on the left. Took him 3 weeks to complete using aerosol cans. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I shall now tell you about the shipbuilding history. By the second half of the 19th century, Glasgow, by the second half of the 19th century, Glasgow was known as the third biggest port in the United Kingdom, and Glasgow was the workshop of the empire. We're on the left on the Clyde at one time. We used to have well over 80 shipbuilding companies at one time. We only sadly have 2 shipbuilding companies left. One is called Ferguson's at Inverclyde, and the other is the other shipyards at BAE, where they build warships and frigates at various times. But at one time on the Clyde, we built over 400 times of ships every single year on the Clyde. That's so very hard to overcome now. Over 400,000 tonnage of ships were built on the or it is not built to a straight angle, and that's what the word squinty means from a Glasgow point of view. On the left-hand side of the Squinty Bridge, for which Glasgow people call the bridge, there is a round red brick building on the left called a rotunda. And there is one straight ahead called the Cranside Kitchen, which is now a bar and restaurant today. Many years ago, in these round red brick buildings on the left and straight ahead, they used to have hydraulic lifts inside, which would lower people with horses and carts, etc., to a tunnel, which led beneath the Clyde on your left to that rotunda on the other side of the bridge, or to this one in front of us, which is now transformed into a bar and restaurant today, called the Cranside Kitchen. The underground tunnels still exist beneath the Clyde, but they are now sealed off completely for health and safety, sadly. But they were very much in use at one time as a means to getting to this side of the Clyde or to the one on the left. So see the one on the left, everyone? There's one on the left. Rotunda means round, and there's one here on the right. That's what the underground tunnels were ready to use. Anyone want 10? Number 10? Built in 1931, look up on the left, everyone. Back in the day, that crane above you on the left could lift up 175 tons maximum most that a crane would lift, and pull them all onto shipping vessels for exportation around the globe. Clyde built stood for quality. That crane on the left was built by Cowan, Sheldon and Co. Limited in Carlisle in 1931. On the right here is the Orville Hydro concert venue. Does anybody want number 11 for the Science Centre? Yeah, we do.
11, eh?
11, yeah, absolutely. Good job. This is 11. This is for Science Centre. No, it's not this one. The next one again. Next one. The next stop is 11A. Not this one. Okay. You can walk it, but it's better to get the bus. It's too awkward to walk. Yeah.
Okay, now we wait.
Have a seat. That's the stairwell clear. There's enough change the mind. I'm going to wait for the next one. On the left, everyone, the climb auditorium above on the left here, designed by Lord Norman Foster. In the shape of the upside down hulls of the ships built on the climb. Up to the left here is the SEC Centre, where the Christmas Iron Blue Carnival events are held within and lots more of these times within the year. Remember, the earphones will not work on this bus. This is live commentary only. Earphones will not work on this one. What's behind in 15 minutes? Well, that's an alternative choice for you. On the left, everyone. This is the concert venue, the Oval Hydro. Now, on the left-hand side, the Oval Hydro, at night time, it changes colour. NASA, from the United States of America, produced a very tiny metal element for the exterior of that building on the left. Now, we don't know if it's to do with the lighting or sound effects, but NASA and the United States of America indeed produced a tiny metal element for the exterior of the building. And there's no two ways about it. It looks remarkable at night, and it very much so resembles, in every true sense of the word, it does resemble a UFO at night. It's tremendous. It's very impressive. Some of the biggest names from the world of the music industry have graced the stages in here. I'll give you an example of a few of them. Sir John has performed in here. Give us a big cheer if you like him. Does anybody like Sir Rod Stewart? He's performed in here. Barry Manilow has performed in here. Celine Dion, The Vamps, Little Mix, Ariana Grande, Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Brilliant, the list is tours you pay for inside the distillery, but they might have some left inside. They also have a great shop inside selling lots of bottles of single malts and a great cafe. Right to the left, we've made Mary steamer with the black and yellow funnels. So we have some visitors for this one. Stuart? Have a great time. Thank you. Well, the next stop is number 1251 for the Riverside Museum and the Glenley Toll Ship. Does anyone at the back want to go? Yes. Remain seated. Is he impressed? 1891, Thomas Lipton had a shop here. And way back in 1891, the shop of Thomas Lipton not only sold his famous Lipton brand of tea, which is sold globally today, but it also sold ham and cheeses in 1891, the shop of Thomas Lipton on Stopford Street. Now, he must have been a very generous man, for in 1891 Thomas Lipton held many competitions to guess the weight of the cheese, for which he had ribbon through. To the left here, this is the Riverside Museum. It is free entry, but remain seated because we're going to stop outside it. Now that building to the left hand side celebrates the history of vintage transportation, the Riverside Museum. But we'll stop outside the attraction as soon as we have two roundabouts to turn. To the left, the building was designed by the Iraqi-born architect Zaha Hadid. She designed the building. And she designed a lot of other buildings around the world as well with Zaha Hadid, the Iraqi-born architect of Riverside Museum. So it's free entry inside, shuts at 5. Down to the right here, where they built frigates and warships at various times down at Southern Shipyards. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's under refurbishment at the moment, but got beneath the Glasgow Tower in front of us, straight ahead, the black and yellow funnels are the focal point to the Queen Mary steamer. And when she's complete, she will eventually sail again when she's refurbished. There's the Queen Mary steamer, down to your left, with the black and yellow funnels. And the tower is a very tricky one because it's too windy and complicated sadly. It's up to the side sector staff. Sometimes they cancel it completely, so we want to see this. Usually the distance to go. But it has it. Sometimes it works and sometimes they don't have an operation. Have a great time. You're welcome. We have lots of visitors coming down. Stuart, hold on tight. Great to know.
Oh, here comes some kiddos.
Limeage, you're more than welcome to do so, but for the consideration of all passengers, please keep the volume down, okay? That's why we do have audio for people who want to listen in their native language, okay? But welcome aboard if you want to is your driver. Follow your map vigorously. You must hit the button in plenty of notice for the drivers to stop. 13 is your next stop for the bars and restaurants. Yeah, there's a few seats outside. To the left, everyone, the river Clyde. Did you know that the roads of the Clyde from 71 and I-49 and the Romans called the Clyde the Romans called Scotland Caledonia. The Romans called Great Britain Britannia. The Romans called Ireland Hibernia. But yes, it sounds quite interesting to know, but the Romans came up the Clyde from 71 Anno Domini and called the Clyde Scotland Road. Now everyone, remain seated here on the expressway. Now we do apologise if you can't hear this, but I'll try my best to let you understand. We're going to go quite speed here. Ladies and gentlemen, the year was 1881 and a 460-ton steamship by the name of the Ferret steamship was stolen. I know it sounds ridiculous, but this actually happened in the year of 1881. Glasgow Tricksters had been playing a trick of the captain The Glasgow Tricksters bribed the captain with alcohol. And this happened in 1881. The captain fell asleep. And he was asleep for absolutely hours. And when he had reawoken, the Ferret steamship was nowhere to be seen on the Clyde. Because whilst he was asleep, in 1881, the Glasgow Tricksters had painted the Ferret steamship a different colour. They changed all the navigation markings on board the Ferret steamship and sailed the Ferret steamship right out of the Clyde, out into the open ocean, and guess where to next? Down to the southern hemisphere, all the way to just off the coastline of Melbourne in Australia. The 460-ton Ferret steamship had indeed arrived. Well, as we're all aware of, it took them absolutely months to get there with the 460-ton Ferret steamship. They got there, and the story gets more intriguing as we go on. Just wait for the next part of the story. A Scottish ex-man police officer by the name of James MacDonald, he was walking along, working now for Melbourne Police, and he gets the binoculars out. Because here in the distance you can see that the 460-ton Ferret steamship was indeed brought off the coastline of Melbourne. Now there was nothing he could do about it. He was right. There was no telephones around in 1881. The telephones were just not out then. So what do you think he had to do? The Scottish ex-pat police officer, who was now working for the Melbourne Police Force, I'll tell you, he had to telegraph back home from Melbourne, Australia, where he was now working for the police, to the police force in Govan, Glasgow, Scotland by telegraphing, as there was no telephones around then in 1881 that were just not out. So James MacDonald, the expat Scottish police officer, telegraphed back home to explain the story. Understandably so, they did not believe him. But when they realised that it was no longer in the Clyde anymore, they knew he was telling the truth. I think they should take that into a movie, what do you think? It's a great true story, yeah, 1881 it happened. On the right here, the huge sculpture of Charles Minnie Macintosh on the right. on the chair, Scottish architect. Everyone, look up on the left above Herald Insurance. He first started out with that group in the Scotia Bar on Stockwell Street. But then he knew he had the technique for making people laugh, and he went into comedy live on stage. And he now lives in Florida today with his wife, Pamela Stevenson. So both established in their own right, very successful is Billy Connolly and Pamela Stevenson, his wife. Now look to your left, everyone. Like the scale one, the largest collection of Robert Burns works in the world inside. Look at the top of the green copper dome, and you'll see the figure of Minerva, the Lady of Wisdom, at the top of the green copper dome of the building on the left. That building, the foundation stone, was laid by Andrew I shall now tell you all, went down as a terrible day for one man, Oscar Slater. In 1908, Oscar Slater was wrongfully blamed with the murder of a wealthy spinster by the name of Marion Gilchrist. He was sentenced to serve 20 years in Peterhead Prison. He served half the sentence until Sir Arthur Conan Doyle stepped in, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, and he got out. He said his honor to just get his hands. Down to the right here, the Arlington Pub on the right. The staff in that pub we passed by there, called the Arlington, they claim, now it might sound ridiculous, the staff in the Arlington bar here claim to have the original Store of Destiny inside, which to you or I is Jacob's Pillar. So if you're in that pub, it's fascinating. They have a story in a niche, and they claim that it is the original. On the right here, this pub has had various great reviews, this one on the right here, for the quality of beverage and food. Yeah, very good. So we have visitors for this one from upstairs. Have a great time. 15 minutes at the present time for the next one, okay? Have a good one. Number 3, this is number 13, number 13. Yeah, 13. The next one, got to tell you all, today the Hunterian every single Monday is closed. So be aware, the museums at number 14 are all closed on a Monday, okay? Before you step foot off. So number 14, the Hunterian and Macintosh House is closed every Monday, so you're aware of that. To the left-hand side, beneath the River Kelvin Hall, Joseph Lister statue Park ahead. Now, like I say, if you do all the 14 museums in a closed, if you're back tomorrow, in the Hunterian Museum tomorrow, they have the distance slabs inside from the Roman Antonine Wall, which were built by the 2nd, the 6th and 20th Legion of the Roman Empire, with all collected coins and children Roman samples. Now my left here, built in 1870, the University of Glasgow, designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott,
Pretty.
Yeah, the girls know shut, they're coming down. Yeah, you can walk around the grounds for photos. 15 minutes. The ladies, give us a tip and split it later. That's very kind of you. Have a great time, everyone. Now that's the stairwell clear.
Everything, yeah. Everything had to get down anyway.
Welcome aboard. Be aware the earphones will not work on this one, okay? This is a live commentary, English
you're
only.
dead.
Welcome. On the left above, not many people know the story, but Albert Einstein, the man of the law of relativity, came to pledge his quantity with Cambridge University, Glasgow University, where he had 1933.
That looks like
Remain seated at the moment, just for safety, and we will stop at the official stop.
oh no.
Now, if indeed you are going to the Kibble Palace greenhouses or the Botanic Park, it is not directly at the bus stop. You must walk to your right here. There is a 10-minute walk along to the right to the end of Byres Road to get to the Botanic Park and to the Kibble Palace greenhouses, which are very good. Beautiful day, and it's a beautiful park for anyone who likes exotic flowers and plants. But you must listen carefully. When you wish to catch the bus again, you must make your way back to the official bus stops and signal clearly with your hands when you want the drivers to stop. Because if you don't signal, some people stand on the backs of the bus stop and the drivers have got no idea when you want to stop. So make sure you put your hand out signal. Down to your right, Ashton Lane is where the Ubiquitous Chip restaurant is. Ubiquitous means everywhere. It's down to your right beside Iceland Supermarket, the lane where it is, Ashton Lane. And down to the right, opposite Ashton Lane, is Ruthven Lane, where the Hanoi Bike venue is, which was claimed to have been the first Vietnamese restaurant to have opened in Glasgow, the Hanoi Bike venue in Ruthven Lane. And down to your right in Ruthven Lane is also where the coffee is. If you want to go somewhere atmospheric, very rustic in style inside, a lot of the times it's advisable to book the basket for the table. But if time limitation is of no issue to you, if time is not an issue, you can walk in and ask them to let you see the menu and decide for yourself what you think by looking at the menu. So the Bothy, if you like rustic style restaurants, the Bothy in Ruthven Lane Just down to the right is very good too. But the great thing is in Glasgow, you're not restricted to the one bar or restaurant or one museum. You've got plenty to choose from. And this is what we all like, a selection. Now, of course, before the buildings and roads were ever here in existence, in the 1700s time, it was all fields and farmland here. In the 1700s, before the buildings and roads were ever here. And the wealthy came here with their livestock and servants during the summer months for the holidays. And they kept the livestock, the cattle, in byres. This is why, to this very day, the alternate here to your left and right, byres roads. Because a byre is where they kept the livestock in the 1700s when the merchants came here with all their servants and all their animals. And that's why down to the right, Ashton Lane and Roofton Lane, they used to be stables at one point. So they're fascinating cobblestones down to the right in these hidden lanes. Just down there. Someone pointed to you if you're here. It's very interesting. Anyone who's so 15 minutes, our next bus, okay? Have a great time. I'm sure you will. So if you walk back the way, 10 minutes walking will take you to the park and to the Devil Palace. Enjoy. It's fabulous. Welcome. 2 couples coming down. I'll give you when the stairwell is clear. Always keep checking the timetables so you do not miss the final buses from here. Look down to the right, everyone. At the bottom of Havelock Street to your right, the spire is the focal point to the pub and restaurant called the Courtier. That spire, it used to be a church obviously, it's now a bar and restaurant called the Courtier. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your next stop is number 16. Always follow your tour map vigorously. So 16 is the next stop. Now I must say, if you have not seen one yet, that's okay, we'll stop soon. But now you can relax. I'll tell you what you can find inside Kelvin Hall. Are you ready? Well, some of the artifacts and relics anyway. Japanese warrior armour in glass casing. We can take you inside Kelvin Hall Museum. Knight's armour in glass casing. Ancient fossilized dinosaur bones, millions of years old. Marble statues. Anything else now? Masters of artwork upstairs from Rembrandt, Monet, Picasso, and the Salvador Dali depiction of St. John of the Christ on the cross, and so much more. It's free and we'll stop soon, but relax at the moment. Down to the right here, behind the trees, the original 1918 University campus to your right behind. Very good quality food and very reasonable at the University Cafe. On the left, these are listed buildings formed west of the Thermite Hospital. They're always very nice to know. Well, if we're going to Kelvin Hall, you could spend absolutely hours inside this attraction. Like I say, we'll stop outside the venue for you when we get to the official stop. Now, it closes at 5 o'clock. Remember, all the Glasgow City Council run museums close at 5 p.m. Quite a time. But if you've not seen one day attraction today, try and see Kelvin Hall Art Gallery Museum. It's free as well. ahead in the skyline with the Orient Tower straight ahead. So the British will be right outside. Look down to your left, everyone. On the right, there's a hospital centre. There's two inside the hospital stop. You just have to do it. Now with the brakes on, you will see we've got some visitors. This is number 16. And lots of visitors are coming down now, Stuart, okay? Have a great time. This is Kelvin Grove on the left. Have a great time. You're welcome. I'll keep you updated. The stairwell is full at the moment, so I'll keep you updated everyone when it is clear. Still visitors coming downstairs. Have a lovely time, everyone. That's the stairwell clear, folks. On you come up. Stairwell is now clear. A very warm welcome. How was the museum? Was it good? So my name is Donna, and indeed Stuart is your driver. Look on the left, everyone. Kelvin Grove Art Gallery is built in the Hispanic Baroque style of architecture. It was built in 1901, the building, for one of the exhibitions held within Kelvin Grove Park, designed by John W. Simpson and built by Atlantic Architects. Down to your left, the well-managed road. Have your cameras up to the left now. Give the opportunity for photo of the new left of Glasgow High upon the road to the left.
Pretty.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here on the left-hand side, the year was 1888. Queen Victoria came to the beautiful park of Kelvin Grove, the reason it was built, as part of the Great Exhibition. And the Kelvin Grove Park on the left here is designed by Joseph Paxton. Joseph Paxton also designed the Crystal Palace in London. This is number 17 of the exhibition restaurants. And it's 15 minutes behind before the next bus. Remember, when it gets to 4:30 in the evening, the frequency of this bus changes at 4:30. It becomes a rush. Couple upstairs coming down. Have a lovely day. Enjoy. Have a great day. Couple coming down from upstairs. On the left, the Oxon Bench. It has won many Michelin awards for the quality of its food. Often you have to look for a table here, but you often find it very busy with Oxon Bench. So plenty to choose from. Now, number 18 is the next stop. The very worship their faith within. Down to the right here, in the basement of number 17, Sandyford Place. This next story went down as being part of the Square Mile of Murder. For way back in 1800s time, 87-year-old James Fleming had murdered a servant girl in a scene of brutality. He killed her with a meat cleaver. Yuck. And it's claimed that she refused his advances, so he killed her. He was 87, James Fleming. That's why this area has always been known as part of the Square Mile of Murder. There was a Scottish documentary on about it a couple of years ago on Scottish TV. He got away with it, 87-year-old James Fleming. He was a churchgoer. Nobody could have ever have suspected that he could have committed the crime. So it was quite convenient for them to blame the servant girl's friend, Jessie McLaughlin. She got the blame of the crime in 1800s, found in the basement of 17 Sandford Place. Jessie McLaughlin spent 20 years of her life in Perth Prison, Scotland, for this crime she never committed. And when she was eventually released from Perth Prison in 1800s time, she went on to live her final days in Michigan, in the United States of America, where she lived on into her late 80s. 18 is your next stop, remember? Number 28. Your left-hand side. This green and red Architectural building used to be a hotel. And in the 1930s, John F. Kennedy made one of his first speeches in the building, aged 22 years of age. That was on the Garden Tree, arranged in it all. Does anyone wish number 19? Willow Tea Room is your next stop for afternoon tea. It's a delightful venue for afternoon tea number 19. Up to the left, under the scaffolding, the School of Art was destroyed along with the O2 ABC concert venue many years ago. So there is a couple coming down. So they've got a lady coming down. Have a lovely time. Enjoy. If indeed you're going to the Willow Tea Rooms, it's straight ahead if you're going there. Main pedestrian walkway. Or Sucky Hall Street. 5 minutes along the right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, number 20 is your next stop. Number 20 is for the Doubletree Hotel, over the Hilton chain, for the Pikey Centre, Malvern and Citizen Inn Hotel. Down to your right, behind the trees, the original Macintosh at the Willow Tea Rooms, designed by Charles Rennie Macintosh. And on the right here, looking down to your right, this building is Art Deco inside on the right-hand side. Glasgow Film Theatre was built in 1939, Art Deco. 20, like I say, if anyone wants to go to find out about the Scottish bagpipes, 20 is the next stop. You have to follow the map to get there, it's not directly at the bus stop. It's about 5 minutes round the corner of the Royal Conservatoire in Scotland. Does anyone wish number 20? So we won't miss anyone's stop. Well done. And at the present time, it's every 15 minutes for the next bus seat. One flight, every 15 minutes. But at the moment, we need to see it just for safety, okay? And the rest of it will go soon. Well, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and inventors. After royalty, after Glasgow, across the United Kingdom. Once the right railway shop, it was at one time known as the second city of the British Empire, Glasgow. The amount of inventors who came out of this great country was phenomenal back in the day. This all played a huge part into the life of the town where the second city of the British Empire and the world's movie made. Now, if anyone's going to the Piping Centre, it's round to the left, 5 minutes walking. It's a sand-coloured building. Have a great time. Enjoy. On the left here, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. Does anyone like Outlander? Yeah. Sam Coogan, who plays Jamie Fraser, he studied here. David Tennant of Doctor Who fame studied here, and many more. On the left is the Piping Centre, the Sand Building. 21, Buchanan Bus Station, next door. If anyone wishes to learn to one in a man, with the bus building North Pole, this is from Buchanan Bus Station coming up now, 21. Now, if you look up on the right, everyone, at the top of the building on the right here, this building is the Pavilion Theatre. It was designed by Bertie Crew. And at the top of the building on the right, some great detail carved into the stonework at the top of the building on the right. Every year at Christmas time, like most theatres around the United Kingdom, they often have the pantomime performed in here. Are you ready for this, everyone? Oh, yes, they do. Let me hear you now. Oh, no, they don't. So it's very good entertainment here at Christmas, where the actors entertain the masses and keep them all involved with the banter and the ongoing fun. So at Christmas time, this is so sold out. Like most theatres around the city and United Kingdom, many visitors don't know what the pantomime is. It's a bit of festive fun where a lot of the gents dress up as dames and entertain the masses, which is great fun. On the right here above, this is the tallest cinema in the world, everyone. It's called Cineworld. Now, it must have beaten a building in Japan, but now this one on the right is the tallest cinema in the world. Look at that height. Tremendous. Multi-screen inside, so many screens in there. Well, before the cinema was here on the right, the old Apollo music venue stood here on the right many years ago, before this structure was here, where many bands performed within, such as AC/DC, Rod Stewart, Brian Ferry of Roxy Music, the list goes on. So yeah, before the cinema was ever here on the right, this is the area where the old Apollo music venue stood. And many people of Glasgow paid to see their favourite bands of the day, music artists perform within. Well, down to the right here, West Nile Street, named after the Battle of the Nile, when the British fought during the Napoleonic Wars. That's the significance of the name to the right. Have a photo down to the right, it's a very beautiful right here. And on your right above, on the wall, the bird with the bell, the fish on the tree, look upwards on the right.
There's the
Glasgow
Buckingham
City
bus.
Structures.
Okay, that's where we're going.
Number 21, the bus station is on your right. And once it stops, that's right. Everyone's going up. And we need quiet, if it's getting done at the moment. It might not necessarily just check it on the timetable.
Oh, this isn't where we started.
No, but are we going all the way around again?
I don't think so.
Because we get to where we stopped. Get off.
Yeah. We'll get off of the okay. I was trying to kind of look and see where. Well, we'll find it.
Well, up to the left here, everyone. Behind you, Helen bus station, is Glasgow Caledonian University. Now, the call of Glasgow Caledonian University to your left for a reason. The Romans called Scotland Caledonia. The Romans called Great Britain Britannia. The Romans called Ireland Hibernia. And the Romans called France Gaul. But that's the reason they call it university, at the top of the hill behind us on the left, Glasgow Caledonian. And that was the name the Romans referred to Scotland as Caledonia. Now the Romans, they actually came up the cloud from 71 Anni Domini, after the death of Christ. And the Romans' intelligent name for the climb in Scotland was the Clota, or the Clutha. And this is why we have a pub known as the Clutha Pub on the other side of the city. Well, that is the name the Romans referred to the Clyde as. When they came up the Clyde from 71 Anni Domini, they called it Clutha or Clota. Now, like we're all aware, the Romans were ruthless. They were absolute brutes, no doubt about it. However, the Romans were the first to build roads, and this is where the saying comes from: every road leads to Rome. And the Romans indeed were the first to come up with sanitisation. Thousands of years ago they were immaculate, but brutal of course, like we're all aware of. If you were a criminal, that was a done thing. Thousands of years ago, if you were a criminal even, they crucified you. But the Romans were also the first to come up with underfloor heating. Thousands of years ago, the Romans used to heat under the Roman villas with candles, and that was known to have been the first form of underfloor heating. Thousands of years ago. We're heading back down to number 1 now. We'll stop, then we'll leave again at 2:45 for the very beginning of the tour. That's the Roman Macy's. Straight ahead, George Square was laid out as the reign of King George III from 1782. But you will never find a statue of King George III on the square because he lost the American colonies. And when he lost the American colonies, Glasgow almost became a financial boom. So instead, at the top of the centre floor in column ahead is Sir Walter Scott statue, the Scottish globalist. This hotel was once called the Royal British Hotel, where Harry Hopkins met Winston Churchill inside to discuss America coming into the Second World War. If you've not been inside, in the city chambers ahead, try and go in and have a look at the beautiful marble interior. That's a glorious building inside. They have tours 10:30 in the morning and 2:30 in the afternoon in there, Monday to Friday. On behalf of Donna and Stuart, if you're alighting, have a great time. This one leaves again